Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network.
Welcome to Couch Pilots, all my friends, the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, but you can call me the Black Licorice. Across from me is Captain Philip Restisher. Good evening, Captain.
Good evening. How are you, my friend?
What does black licorice taste like? Sorry, I've had 2 sips of beer.
I don't like it. It's gross.
I'm doing that well.
You're doing that well?
Yeah, how am I doing? I'm doing as well as a black licorice tastes.
I'm sorry.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know, you got troubles, you got woes, but you get through them.
Yeah, you got troubles, you got woes. You get through them with your hoes, right?
All my hoes.
Your hoe for show. She's been showing up for you, right?
Sure.
I don't know what that means. What a beautiful night.
Yes, it was. It's the beginning of fall. We're in October now, and we're going to be celebrating the ghoulish holiday of Halloween.
Halloween.
Passover, Halloween. It's where some people just pass over it.
Well, we fly over it, or quote unquote pass over it.
Exactly, because we fly over all the major cities
and all the major holidays.
All the major holidays, and we have a banner. During Kwanzaa, it's like yellow and green, yellow stripe, red stripes, black stripe, And
then a black guy's thumbs up at the end.
Exactly. And then Boxing Day,
of course,
we fly over Canada.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Canada.
Yeah. And we just have a big banner of Sugar Ray Leonard in the back.
Sure.
For Boxing Day. Yeah, we pass over all major holidays.
I get it. I got that.
What's that?
We pass over.
That's what I mean. What do you mean? We pass over. We fly.
It's like a Christian holiday.
I'm not sure what that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I apologize. I was just speaking plainly.
I've heard of it. I don't really know what it all entails.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I am excited for fall though. The crisp autumn air. Is my birthday in October? Sure it is, but it's also my favorite month.
29th.
It is not.
It's 27th?
It is 27th.
See, I said to myself 27th, but then I said, no, you always get it wrong. Add 2 days.
Yeah, well, not this time. It's a beautiful month. It's cool days, crisp nights. Just like we always said, right? Like we always say.
Chris Knights. I love Chris Knight. He's great.
Yeah. Christopher Knight
from the
Brady Bunch.
You're like, cool days? Chris Knights. Like you were very...
Chris Knight. The eldest of the Brady Bunch, right? I do love all of that Brady Bunch.
They're very good. I'm ready for a good flight tonight.
Yeah.
It does get a little darker when we take off. So DSJ is really important because... the days shorten up, the nights get longer.
Yeah. Those golden cones just become more and more ambient.
Sure.
And it necessarily so.
Well, I think because it's got, on the Switch, it's got, summer and winter.
Yeah, a lot of things you're looking like on a flashlight. You press the button a couple different times and it cycles through. But this just said you can set the golden cones to a season, which is nice.
Oh.
Because that's how he knows best, too.
Right.
That helps him a lot.
Exactly.
So set it to fall, DSJ. And help us take it off. You'll do the stuff in the middle.
Yeah, you take off. You bring it back down.
Yeah.
I do the stuff in the middle. We've got some fan feedback. Do you want to go into this? It's pretty lengthy. There's quite a bit of conversations we've had. We love when frequent flyers, which is what we call our listeners.
Yep.
They subscribe and they like or share links, or on Twitter they like or retweet.
It's all connected back to Couch Pilots HQ,
sure.
and specifically into our Pachinko machine, which calculates all the activity
without using electricity, which I find amazing.
We wind it at the end of every day.
I make Molly do it.
Yeah, well, okay, good. I assumed you or the boy did it, but thank God you have Molly doing it.
Sure.
And so all this information comes back into the machine, and it calculates and generates frequent flyer points. And so whoever this is that's giving us fan feedback, hey, get ready for some frequent flyer points.
Oh, I mean, he's going to be racking them up because in actuality, there's multiple there's multiple fan feedbacks from the same person.
I have not heard any of this. Let's get it started.
We got these are from our Facebook fan page,
because we're all spread over social media.
All the social medias.
So this came through Facebook.
Facebook, our Couch Pilots podcast. Just look it up. This is from Richard T. I'm going to keep his last name, top secret in case the feds are after him, because from what I've read, it's probably true.
And according to what the pachinko machine reads, the feds are after a lot of our frequent flyers.
Oh, most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them. Richard, we won't call him Dick, writes, so I had mentioned earlier that my friend's podcast, now defunct, called We Watched It For You, which reviewed strange movies that the host, Scott Cherry, found on Netflix, was very similar to Couch Pilots. I went ahead and shared a link to this Facebook group page in the WWIFY group in the hopes to getting a few more people listening to Couch Pilots. Keep up the good work. So he not only commented,
right,
he shared our link on a group for this no longer relevant podcast.
Now defunct. Now you have no problem saying the guy who did that podcast. You have no problem saying his full name.
Well, because it's highlighted in blue,
but
it's a blue link.
Oh, my mistake. I couldn't see that from here. Was it classically blue?
Oh, exactly. And then so I wrote, or we wrote, sorry. Thank you so much for the support. I'm glad you enjoy the show. You just got 1,000 frequent flyer points.
And when you share like that, and then when you give it out to a community and bring more listeners in, it reminds me of your days, because you used to be a pinball wizard.
Oh,
that's fair to say,
used
right?
to be, yeah.
Okay, I know you kind of put that behind you. There's kind of a dark, seedy underworld of pinball out there. And I think in the 70s it really hit its peak. And it kind of plateaued in the 80s and started to come back down in the 90s. But during that time, you were very active in the dark, seedy world of pinball, right?
Sure, I did. I do a lot of my practicing getting good at stuff when nobody else is doing it.
That's right. So it's not. So a lot of what you do is not relevant at the time.
But I know it'll come back around, kind of like bell bottoms.
That's right. So and you've got. I mean, I've seen you. I've been in your bedroom. Don't ask me why. But you have.
Why have you been in my?
I said, don't ask me why. Okay. You have drawers full of bell bottoms ready to go for when they swoop back around. My point, though, is that when you're playing pinball, things add up. You get multipliers, and then you start getting points, and those points get multiplied. But that's exactly what's happening with Big Dick T here about when he goes out there and he comments on the show and he shares it. He's just multiplying all of his frequent flyer points. He's really cashing in.
Right, but I don't know if we're at the end of this, if we should give him all of this.
Okay.
Second one here. This is when we released season 4, episode 10 next. On the link, he put, thanks for mentioning me, because we mentioned him on that episode.
Right.
I have also got my girlfriend, Lori Garcia, listening to the podcast as well.
See, this keeps getting better. I cannot imagine a scenario where this drops off. Keep going.
I went and looked at her page.
What did you give her full name?
Oh, yes, I did. Lori G.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. So I said, keep that girlfriend, brother. She sounds amazing. And then Lori, she put Couch Pilots, goddamn right, I'm amazing. So she got frequent flyer points, although she cussed.
Yeah, I mean, that's a slight infraction, a slap on the wrist.
6 and 1/2 doesn't have another. So then, we had some personal conversation, and I'm not going to get into the personal conversation that we had. That would be really inappropriate.
Just last names.
Exactly. So then there was the picture of us where we're back to back. We're not kissing, but it's right before we kiss.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we use for our PR.
Sure, our glossy.
Sure. Richard puts, wow, this totally ruins the image I had in my head of what you guys look like.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I imagined you both to be obese.
Now, okay. Is that an old picture where we're not obese? No?
No, we don't look obese.
I would say we're pretty obese.
We've got our arms crossed over like this.
Oh, so we're really protecting our obesity. Okay, so he is right. His assumption was right. We are grossly overweight. We have a BMI of, I think the last time combined, it's 135%.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. So then
run that through the pachinko machine.
I will right in a minute. We are I said we are obese. We just hide it well. Then he put, that being said, I have difficulty believing that you're actual pilots.
Okay. Okay, now I'm starting to see what you were saying
Sure.
before. Okay.
That's fine. Okay.
It gets better. Again?
I said, yes. I said, well, we'll have to step up our verbiage because obviously we weren't using all the verbiage to impress these people thinking that we're not pilots.
Wings. Altitude.
Atmospheric pressure.
Sure.
Buoyancy.
Yeah. Black box. You know? I mean, who else would know these words?
Right. Windshield.
Right. Pilot's license.
Lever thingy.
Yeah. Oh, God, I use that all the time.
Right.
The lever thingy?
Right.
Yeah.
So then he writes, in fact, I am going out on a limb and accuse both of you of being imposters. I will take it a step further and accuse both of you of running a global elderly pornography ring, being supporters and members of both ISIS and Al-Qaeda, responsible for the terrorist attacks on 9/11, 2001, felony jaywalkers, child arsonists, pro-anti-disestablishmentarianists, and finally, directors of Guns for Food, a program that gives mentally unstable homeless people automatic assault rifles. And so I just responded to him, spot on, brother, spot on.
I don't know why we're recording this right now. I mean, we honestly check the time, cut it here. I don't know how he knows. I don't know how he knows about all of our ongoings and all of these exploits. I've never mentioned it. I mean, you and I are in together on a lot of these things.
Right.
Two people essentially cannot keep a secret. I know I'm in the clear.
Well, I think what has happened is I do believe that he has the access to a lot of documentation, and I think he's very smart. He's not just a dick.
Well, he said anti-disabilitarianism.
Yeah, I could.
So
yeah.
I would assume he's very smart.
Yeah, no, he's very, and he likes to cuddle with his girlfriend.
I don't care about that.
There's a lot of pictures of them cuddling in bed.
This is what I say to you.
She's cute, though.
This is what I say. Well, after this little conversation,
Lori, I'm going to give you 1,000,000 points for just being a cute little girl.
You just wasted it. We're not even recording right now. This is what I say to him. You know what? See if you can't bribe him.
Okay.
Give him a couple sweet million frequent flyer points to kind of hush up on this.
Okay.
And then we'll cut back here.
Okay, so
3, 2. And so that fan feedback, I mean, what a fantastic listener to the show. What a great addition to Couch Pilots.
Richard, we're going to give you 2,000,000 frequent flyer points.
Incredible. Richard, thank you so much for contacting the show.
Lori Garcia, you're a beautiful gal.
Gorgeous. I'd love to cuddle. Wow. And with that, I think we should board the plane.
Let's board it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
So, you and I your captain, Philip Ressasher.
And you're Captain Black Licorice.
Yeah, whatever you want to call me. So, as long as Black's in there somewhere, because people need to know my affiliation to the Black community.
Right. You like to have sex with them.
I like to have sex with the Black community, yeah.
I was thinking about that earlier before you got here.
All right, let's hear it. Please.
I was wondering what's your favorite part of having sex with...
The vagina.
Is it different? Does it taste different or... Texture-wise?
I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. You go into a room with a black lady, you turn off the lights, it's all the same color to me, all right? Some people say, hey... Is
it ribbed different or something?
Well, it's ribbed for her vagina's ribbed for my pleasure, if that's what you mean.
That's good.
And then they used to say Asian ladies have sideways vaginas. I can confirm that's not the case. Regular vagina.
I can confirm it, too.
High five it. Ladies all across the world, no matter your ethnicity, age, or sexual orientation, vaginas are the same all across the land. Take it from me. Parents just don't understand. What is this show? Why are we talking about vaginas and which position they're in?
I don't know.
No one's ever said a diagonal. Maybe it's a Polish lady has one of those. What I would like to say, though, is that absolutely we're real pilots. We get on a plane every week. We fly through the air. And then we talk about television shows that had one and only one episode. Sometimes they were aired. Sometimes they were hidden away from the public, and we uncovered them. That's what this show is. We are absolutely airline pilots. We're boarding the plane. Why would we get into a plane and not take off? It's crazy.
If you're not pilots, how do you get this far at the airport without really being pilots?
I pray to God that we had some sort of visual format. So I'm holding out my license right now. certified pilot's license.
How
would I have one of these if I wasn't an airline pilot?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I mean, we've been through the shit.
Yeah.
We talked about our training, how we went overseas to the Middle East for our training.
Had to press big red buttons,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden the plane became much lighter. We don't understand what necessarily that was or how that involved in the training, but yes, it was. It was required.
We got an A+. That's all I know.
Got an A+. We passed over all the holidays,
Right.
We did all the training. So that's what the show is, essentially. Us bombing Baghdad. Today, we discussed the pilot episode of Mockingbird Lane from the year of our Lord 2000 and also 12. Great year.
Amazing year. It's an even number.
Love even numbers.
It starts and ends with a 2, so that's how you know it's even.
In the pantheon of years, what else could you ask for? Even number, begins and ends with 2.
Right. If it was like 2,222, that would be cool.
Love it. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? That would be the best.
We're not going to see that.
Prediction, that will be a great year.
You think so? You think the world will still be here?
They say, I don't know with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. How do you like that? That's a good quote.
Who quoted that?
Jay Leno.
Really?
Is his final monologue.
Oh, it's true, though.
It's true that it was Jay Leno.
No, I'm saying it's true that the World War IV is going to be sticks and stones.
Okay, I mean, that's pretty much cemented, right?
Right, because they're going to blow everything up. Everything's going to blow up World War III.
Jay Leno famously said, I don't know with what weapons World War III will be fought. Let's you and I, what do you think World War III will be fought with? What kind of weapons?
Nuclear weapons,
I'm
missiles.
thinking like lasers, like a ton of laser beams.
I don't think laser beams. I think we skipped over. Like to us, like laser beams don't even do anything now. Like they don't destroy anything. Like that's just like in Star Wars and stuff. Like there's just nuclear weapons, mass destruction. There's chemical warfare.
Like in the 80s, I was like, ooh, laser beams.
Right.
Ooh, yeah. Yep. They're gonna have a gun that disintegrates.
Sure.
And you're right. I think we did skip over that. I would like, just like your bell bottoms. I've got a whole drawer full of laser beams at home. Hopefully that comes back around.
Oh, those are the ones that you push the button and the laser beam and the cats chase them all over the place?
Yes, the very same.
Your girlfriends?
I would love to fight a world war with one of those cat toys.
And the girls that you have over your house, you like after sex, you just like do that all over the ceiling
Instead of cuddling, that keeps them busy. That'll work.
Cuddlingus?
Instead of cuddlingless. Is that I don't even want to get into that. Sure. 2012... previously mentioned, great year. What are some of the highlights of that year? Blake, why do we discuss highlights of a particular year?
We'd like to put the listeners in that frame of their life to kind of help them melt into this pilot better and better understand it. And when they give their ratings, they'll take into consideration some of the things that were going on during that time, the turbulence of the world.
Yes. Absolutely right. I could have said it better myself. Here's a couple of things that happened that year. Well, you think I could say it better?
I thought that's what you said. Is you could.
Without a doubt, I could not say it better.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Lynn Sanity takes over the NBA.
Oh, yes, the little Asian guy.
That Chinaman, I tell you what, he was on a hot streak.
And he had a half a good year, then signed this big, huge contract with another team. Never heard of him again.
That's right.
That's the way you do it.
Does he still play?
I don't know.
Lynn Sanity, when puns took over the world.
Rapunzel.
Yeah, when Rapunzel took over the world. Right after Tangled came out, she became a sports commentator and just could not stop talking about Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin, the Chinaman. Do you have any Jeremy Lin stories you'd like to share with everyone?
No, I don't. I'm not a big NBA guy.
Whitney Houston dies at the age 48.
Oh, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
She died in a bathtub, didn't she?
Her and Anna Nicole Smith, I think, famously went the same way.
Yeah.
I think Whitney was even quoted during Jay Leno's final monologue as saying, I want to go the same way that Anna Nicole went.
Makes sense. Jay was way advanced for his time.
He gets a lot of shit, Jay Leno does, for a variety of things, but God damn it if he's not prolific.
Sure. God, I mean, Whitney's life was perfect until she met Bobby Brown.
Oh, yeah.
How come Bobby Brown didn't die? Like he was the one that was doing the drugs and introduced her to that kind of lifestyle, right?
I'd like to think so. I mean,
and then at what point did Bobby go, whoa, I'm laying off this shit. Whitney's all kinds of fucked up.
I think we give Whitney Houston the benefit of the doubt, but in the 80s, massive pop star, right? Just breaking records.
Diva. I mean, diva was synonymous with her.
Right. Oh, yeah. She is the original diva, maybe.
Sure.
You look back at
Aretha Franklin is her.
You're right. She's the... Yeah. Did anyone ever end up respecting her or not?
I don't think so.
And you know what? Honestly, to this day, I still don't know how to spell it.
RESPCT. MISSISSIPPI.
That seems way longer.
Respect Mississippi. Anyway, I digress.
That's fine. 50 Shades of Grey sparks mommy porn revolution.
Oh, that's when the book first came out?
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was the first book. It was The Big Rage, all the talk.
Oh, yeah.
And we took the train to Pennsylvania, and Molly
For Christie Fest?
For the first Christie Fest. And so I think this was it. And Molly bought it at the train station, read about, I don't know, like 3 paragraphs, and just never read the book again.
I thought it was going to be a story where
we had sex? No,
where she ruined the seat so bad she had to pay for it.
Hey, now that would be awesome.
That'd be awesome to pay for it, an Amtrak seat.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Do you think any woman's ever ruined a seat to the point where they looked down and like saw some sort of religious figure in the mess that was made, like a burnt piece of toast?
Probably in like Venezuela. That's usually where that stuff happens.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Or Wisconsin.
The Avengers and The Dark Knight Rises square off at the box office. Did you see both of those movies? Yeah.
I saw The Avengers, I guess.
I fell asleep through it.
Yeah.
I did not care for it.
I'm not a superhero guy.
Okay, well, Batman.
I just like Uma Thurman when she kicks people's ass.
Kill Bill, or when she was Poison Ivy in Batman.
Oh no, it's not the same person. Never mind. Who's the one that
Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah. Did you ever see her in Lucy? The movie Lucy?
No,
you should check that out.
Well, she's always in in the Avengers. She's wearing like shiny leather, skin tight, like it's been painted on her body.
Right, and she just kicks karate chops some motherfucker's ass, and that's it.
Okay, so I get the Avengers, and to me, this is how I separate it in my mind. The Avengers, there's a lot of superpowers and magic and shifting of the earth. But The Dark Knight, that seems to be based in reality, and that trilogy I love. I have a tough time believing that you do not like The Dark Knight Rises. Is that the case? You don't even like the Batman movies?
I don't really like the Batman movies either. I have a lot of trouble accepting that world.
But it's based in reality. The Batman one.
Reality is for people who lack imagination. Plain and simple.
All right. Gangnam Style takes over the world.
Right. That was craziness. I can't say enough about that song. You know me. I love music. I'm huge into songwriting. I'm huge into roots music. And when I think of roots music, Gundam Style. Plain and simple.
Gangnam Style.
Who? Everybody was doing it.
Everyone did the Gangnam Style dance. Did you watch the video?
Oh, yeah. Tons of times.
I think it's the most viewed video ever because of the ridiculous dancing that was done by, what was his name? Hobo Joe?
I don't know. Is this some Asian guy?
I don't know what that guy's name is. Oh, that's so sad. I don't know. I don't care.
Just think how much money he made.
Yeah, a lot. I think it was like a political song. Like Gangnam was like a class of people in his country or something.
And that was like just one song. Like there was no follow up.
I'm sure he tried. Just like Lou Bega, Mambo No. 9. I'm sure he tried here.
My mom loves Mambo No. 5.
Oh, 5?
Yeah.
Did he ever come out with 6 through 9?
Oh, there was the greatest hits. My mom has Lou Vega's greatest hits. I think it's just that CD.
It's just a remix of that one song over and over again?
Right, with a different cover.
Yeah, no, if you're Lou Bega and you have a concert, you open and close with that song and maybe sprinkle it a few times in the middle too.
Sure.
How old were you when this television show?
Only 4 years ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, it was
Here's some easy math.
4 years ago. 37.
37. I was 31. Prime number. That's where I like to be. Yeah, actually, both of us. They're both prime numbers.
Oh, I'm a prime number too?
High five it. Love me some prime numbers. If you're divisible by anything but yourself in one, you can go to hell.
Right, exactly.
How old are you right now? You're 41. Another prime number. I can't high five it because I'm at 34.
I'm priming this shit. I'm pumping the prime.
Good for you. Why did we choose Mockingbird Lane?
3 criteria. It's pretty much the staple of our show. It's what the whole show is centered around. 1, it had to be pilot that never made it to series. There was only one made. It had to be free because we have no money, and we spend our money on beers anyway. Fancy beers so we can get bottle caps.
Yep.
There you go.
What's that? Perfect. Thank you.
And the third one is we had to find it. I mean, we can't watch something, even if it's free, we can't watch it, we can't talk about it.
It's not like we hear about them and then write the pilot ourselves and talk about what we wrote.
That would take forever. We would not be able to do this once a week.
No, I don't have that kind of time. And I wouldn't make the kind of time for this show. I barely make the time the way it is.
You're a busy man.
Where can you find Mockingbird Lane? Well, I'll tell you, you can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or you can go to like dailymotion.com and search Mockingbird Lane Pilot. It's also on YouTube, but the one that we galvanized with our digital protection, the digital condom, if you will, to protect you from viruses out there on the web, it's on Dailymotion. And honestly, it's a way better quality version.
You did not give me that version.
Well, then we have some splaining to do.
Lucy?
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
Oh, yeah. You get it up, buddy. I'll do the rest.
Goodbye, DSJ. The golden cones are clearly set to autumn as we make it to an altitude of soaring altitude of 10,000 feet. How else would we know that, Richard T., if we weren't pilots?
Right, exactly. I mean, it's not like it's just on this little thing right in front of us. I have a question.
Hit me. Hit me.
You know, every year about this time in autumn, we do a resolution, like an autumn resolution.
Sure, yeah.
What is your autumn resolution?
This is great. I've been thinking about this actually for a long time, so I'm glad you brought it up. I'm going to start. A lot of things in my house are organized. And it's kind of driving me crazy. I'm going to start unorganizing a lot of things. I'm going to deliberately go through a lot of drawers and cabinets and kind of just muss it up a little bit.
Is that to kind of help relieve you of the burden that you have of OCD?
I can feel that I am dangerously close to a stroke, and so I hope this will alleviate some of the clotting and the pressure.
Whoa, clotting!
Yeah,
whoa,
that's right.
There's clotting involved.
That is what I'm looking at right now. Yeah,
my God.
I know. I'm sorry, but
you've been to the doctor, right? You used our insurance, the FCF insurance.
I maxed out on it. Honestly, we're getting into autumn. It's late in the year,
Sure.
and it's just a calendar year that our insurance is good for. So I've maxed out on my insurance. So I've actually gone to a holistic guy, and he placed a lot of cold stones all over my head. And,
I love cold stone creamery.
Oh yeah, I love it, delicious. So he puts all these ice creams all over my body,
right.
and he says, you've got some clotting here. You better come up with some sort of resolution.
Now, does the air pressure being taking flights? I mean, does that
does not help? It does not help.
It doesn't help.
No.
What did the doctor say about that?
He said, "Don't do it." Honestly, it's the same holistic doctor that Howie Mandel had when he said, "Don't put that rubber glove over your head and blow it up anymore, or it'll kill you." Yeah, I'm looking down the same avenue as that.
All right, so I should probably get a hold of this Richard guy about possibly co-hosting.
Yeah, I would.
All right, because I'm not having Blake Szymanski going to do it.
No, why not? What is your autumn resolution?
Well, my autumn resolution is to get moved into the new house and enjoy it. Not just get in and start worrying and being worried all the time about paying the mortgage or what's going to break, or something like that. Or I'm a homeowner. No homeowner.
That's you can find me on OkCupid.com under the name No Homeowner. Which in fact I do own a home.
Sure, I want to enjoy it.
Sure,
you know what I mean, and let some of the anxiety go. There's a lot of anxiety right now, and there's
always anxiety with
sure.
you.
And that's what I want. I really want to enjoy it. I want it to be, when I would pull up every day after work, I want to take a shower, get cleaned up, and just enjoy this home that I'm going to be paying an outrageous amount of money for the next 30 years.
Whose name is this home in?
Oh, it's mine, all the way.
Only yours.
Only me.
So there's no real push for you to keep a marriage together necessarily. Uh-oh. Sore spot.
No,
If people have it in both their names, that's like, if someone I think maybe we should separate. They will think twice before doing that because of all the legal
ramifications.
I was going to say mamma jamma.
Okay, that's
great resolution.
Thanks. We need to get talking about
Summary of the pilot. We need to get talking about what?
Exactly.
Grandpa Sam Dracula is essentially Dracula, who assembled Herman because no man was good enough for his daughter Lily, a sexy vamp. Lily's niece Marilyn, the freak, is actually normal, and Lily and Herman's only child Eddie has his werewolf tendencies surface in puberty, forcing the family to relocate to their famous 1313 Mockingbird Lane address.
That's a great summary. That summarizes the story.
It does. It's worded weird.
It's worded weird. It doesn't really summarize the episode.
No.
Just the plot of the storyline.
Yeah, the overarching plot of maybe the entire series had it survived. And I tell you, it's worded to where it's like people just have free reign to put whatever summary you want.
I'm going to put an adjective right here. Even if it's not necessary, I'm going to put an adjective in.
Yep.
An adjective is a word used to describe a noun.
Yeah, I know. Why? What did I look like I didn't understand what you meant?
No, just
interesting facts.
Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah. Now, see,
I've already made you mad.
You come at me like that, and I'm gonna put you right back into place with these interesting facts.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Everyone, be cool. Nobody get hurt. All right.
Just be cool, man. Be cool.
My name is Mick Jagger. I want everybody to be cool in
Listen,
here.
I got the Hells Angels. We got you guys. Everybody's fighting. What war are we fighting? What war are you fighting? What are you fighting for? Just be cool, man.
Look around. Is there any enemies here? We's all friends, ain't we? We's all friends.
Kate, play the song. We're gonna go. We can't play the songs until everybody gets, everybody's cool, man.
Settle down. Can't you all be cool like me? Can't you all be cool like me and Mick? Interesting Facts is
They hadn't made that song yet, but
well, it's okay. They knew it.
they knew it was on their 10-year plan.
Interesting Facts is a part of the show that is separate from the pilot itself. It's behind-the-scenes information, details that the layperson may not know just from sitting down and watching it.
Right.
So we open the curtain, reveal behind, like where the wizard was in Emerald City.
Yep.
You take a look behind the curtain. But here's the deal about the facts. They're true. They are 100% certain. They're set in stone. And no matter what we think or say about them, it will not change them. So during this segment of the show, I'd like everyone to keep their comments to themselves because ultimately they don't matter. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, you can think whatever you want. Go home and write it down in your secret public journal.
If Richard and Lori want to cuddle up in bed with her beautiful smile and bosoms.
Okay, I thought you'd go there.
Of course I would have there. And they want to talk about it, they can. But don't post it on our Facebook page or Twitter page.
No, I don't want to hear about it.
What I don't want to see is a picture posted on the Couch Pilots Instagram of them cuddling.
For sure. I don't want to see that. The reboot of The Munsters, it was written and executive produced by Brian Fuller as a 1-hour drama with spectacular visuals.
Okay.
Yeah? You okay?
Yeah.
You look unsettled. Are you nervous?
No, I'm just jotting things down.
The costumes and makeup for the characters were heavily toned down to have them more closely resemble humans. Huh. Okay.
Okay.
Fact.
They're facts.
That is a fact, Jack. Directed by Bryan Singer.
Jumpin' Jack Flash, Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Jumpin' Jack Flash, Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg actually saw the Beatles. Their last live concert in the United States.
Shea Stadium?
At Shea Stadium. She was there.
Was
her
she
mom
there?
surprised her.
Wow.
With a surprise prize. You know how I know that?
I don't know.
I just watched the new documentary.
On the Beatles?
On the Beatles.
You're really on a
touring.
rock doc kick.
Well, I watched the one with the Beatles. It's the brand new one. It's about the touring years, which it's like 2 years.
Yeah.
Ron Howard.
Oh, did he?
An interesting fact. He directed it. And then I was still awake and Molly was asleep. And so I said, hey, we'll watch this one about the Rolling Stones. I did not realize how awful it is.
Now, the Beatles stopped touring because technology and audio equipment wasn't advanced enough to support what they were doing because the crowds were just too insane, right?
The crowds were so big that they did not have, like you said, the technology to make it to where people could even hear them.
Stupid people.
Stupid. Why did the women have to scream?
Oh, God. Idiots.
In Shea Stadium, they each had like custom-made amplifiers, right?
Yeah.
And everything was plugged in just to the PA system. You know, like the guy, now batting, number 47,
right.
Bobby Bonilla. That's what they had it plugged into.
Dumb.
Stupid.
Bryan Singer, he directed this. You may know Bryan Singer as the director of most of the X-Men movies, The Usual Suspects, and Superman Returns.
Okay.
And you may know him for other things that I cannot mention. Look it up. The pilot episode, he's looking it up, the pilot episode aired on NBC on October 26, 2012 as a Halloween special with the option for a series. NBC passed on the show on December 27th. So 2 months go by. They say, you know what? Nah, I'm good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. The special was...
saw it. I saw what happened.
All right, well, let's leave it. That's not that kind of show. The special was viewed by 5.47 million American viewers and gained a 1.5 out of 5 ratings share for adults aged 18 through 49. Not sure what that means, the 1.5/5 rating. I don't know what that is.
No, and that's the first time you've ever given any factual information about the broadcast, really. I mean, number-wise.
Thankfully, it's one of the few shows that have given that information. And if I had it for every show, you'd be darn tootin' I'd give it to you.
Oh, I love it.
The remodeled shell of the original 1313 Mockingbird Lane can be briefly seen when Marilyn and Grandpa are walking down the street to pass out cookies.
Oh.
I remember that scene.
Yeah, definitely.
Finally, stars Jerry O'Connell and Portia de Rossi also appeared together in the film Scream 2.
Oh, wow.
Did you ever see that movie?
Nope, never saw any of the Scream movies.
You care to?
Nope.
You don't like horror movies?
I like TV. I like movies.
What?
I like anything.
You're all stick in the mud. Hopefully, you calm down during this break we're going to take, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how to turn down the volume on your laptop. What is that, a commercial? Jesus Christ, man. Okay, let's do a quick promo from one of my favorite shows. I was going to do Couch Pilots. I almost did a promo for us.
The Drunken Lullabies is the new one.
Hi, this is the voice from Drunken Lullabies. Do you like craft beer, indie music, pop culture, pro wrestling, and pure juvenile hijinks? Then you will love Drunken Lullabies on the FCF network. We have new episodes every Sunday, so you can spend the Sabbath getting drunk with us. So join me and my co-host Beer Mansky and our rotating cast of characters as we drink amazing beer, listen to bands we think you need to know, and laugh our asses off. Like Elvis said, 10,000 Drunkomaniacs can't be wrong. Check us out on all podcast platforms and at FCFnetwork.com. May your music be loud and your beers be cold.
Brand new. Brand new Drunken Lullabies promo.
That's the first time I heard that. It sounds great.
This is the first unveiling of it. I spent a lot of time on that.
It sounded great. You did a great job
Thank
producing
you.
it, as you do all things for the
Thank you.
FCF network. I will say that the show was going very well, and I hope that the new promo, as good as it sounds, doesn't screw up what they've been doing.
Oh, me too. I just found out today they got picked up for another 3 months sponsorship.
I heard the same. I was copied on that. That was fantastic. I'm so proud of those guys.
Hi, this is the voice from Drunken Lullabies. Do you like craft beer, indie music, pop culture?
Is that an extended file? What is that?
What that is there was 2 cuts, and I didn't take it out. There was he gave me 2 cuts, and I thought I split them.
Yeah.
Then I moved them down and didn't take the other one out.
What would you call that? A producing snafu?
Yeah, or ram hands.
Would you say ram hands? Never heard of that phrase before. Let's break down the pilot. Mockingbird Lane. Oh, boy. Okay, real quick before we get started here, do you have any experience with, we obviously reviewed a few seasons ago right here on Couch Pilots, the episode of The Mini Monsters, which was a cartoon. I think it was the first cartoon that we had done at that point from the 1970s, which was not very good.
No, it was awful. It was all edited and cut up. And,
yeah.
I'm going to predict that you're going to ask me, do I remember The Monsters, the show?
Yeah, what is your experience or memories of that?
I've watched them on occasion. I've seen it. Oh, I'm sorry. The stewardess is tremendously loud opening that envelope in the air. that could not have been taken care of at a later time when we were landed. And
You should stop right now.
okay,
This will not end well for you.
she looks beautiful, though.
Is she in the wrong? 100%. But you making light of it is not going to help you out.
Exactly.
I get to go home alone and sleep in my bed alone. You're going to have to deal with the ramifications of her being loud and you calling her out on it.
That's true. You're like my Buddha. A little late, but...
Oh, just obnoxiously loud now. It's a good thing she's so beautiful.
Yeah, I remember. I remember watching the show. I never really thought it was very funny.
Yeah.
And you know,
Where did you catch it? Like on Nickelodeon, like reruns on Nick at Night or something? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Nick at Night.
I've been watching the
TBS maybe.
Probably so. Yeah, I've been watching the old Dennis the Menace.
Ooh.
I used to watch that growing up on Nickelodeon in the afternoon. My daughter has been getting it. She likes it.
The black and white version.
Yeah, and honestly, it's funny.
Sure.
Like how the adults treat him.
Oh yeah,
and like all the like grown ups smoking cigarettes in front of the kids. I love
exactly. And you know, the husband is just sitting there smoking a
smoking
cigarette,
a pipe or something. Yeah,
it doesn't matter if he's at the dinner table, wherever.
He's brushing his teeth
on the shitter. He doesn't care.
Kissing, open mouth kissing his son. He's smoking the cigarettes. You know, it doesn't matter. I had seen that's one show I never got into is The Munsters. I thought it was pretty shitty.
Sure.
Some of the old stuff is not bad. Maybe My Three Sons, maybe Danny Thomas, a little bit of Danny Thomas. Dennis the Menace, Lassie, Flipper. I used to watch that, but man,
Dick Van Dyke Show was really good. I like Dick Van.
Never got into that. I wouldn't mind revisiting it, but not on this show because they back then they probably run like 450,000 episodes.
Right.
They did like 30, 40 episodes a season back then. Anyway, I don't think much of The Munsters. It sounds like you don't either. Or did you have a fond place for it in your heart?
No, never.
Well, this one starts out at a camp out. It's pretty dark at night. All these campers sitting around a campfire, kind of. Someone's blaming someone from eating the snacks or something.
They're blaming Fatty Wallace for eating all the food.
That'd be great if that was his Christian name, Fatty Wallace.
Fatty Arbuckle.
They and then all of a sudden, the kid who's accusing the guy, he gets pulled into the darkness.
Yeah, all you saw was some like yellow eyes.
Just a split second, and then everyone's like, well, "What is that?" And then other people start getting pulled in the darkness. Everyone's going nuts, jumping in their tents, running away in their sleeping bags. And then at the end of that scene, you see a silhouette of like a werewolf. Yeah,
yeah. It was a very cartoony silhouette.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's like okay, we're doing a live action show, and let's just do a Disney guy, have him come in and do this.
We started with the 1970s. We went to the 1980s. 70s and 80s, I could see that, looking a little cartoonish. But this is 4 years ago.
Right,
Come on now.
Right, exactly.
Come on. And then, you know what? This is not one of the ones that they didn't polish up.
Oh, it's polished. It got aired.
Yeah, this one got aired.
Yeah, and there's going to be a couple other things like this that I mentioned later on. Foreshadowing.
Oh, boy. So So
the next morning, all the kids are all crammed in the scout leader's car, and you know they don't look like in distress really at all. They're just crammed in a car with a green screen behind them.
Yep.
And they're like, "Where's Eddie Munster?"
Yeah.
And then the kid toucher scout leader is like, "Has he been out there on his own all night or something like that?"
Yeah. And he emerges naked from the woods. And at that point, you can think, "Oh, this kid did that."
Sure.
But before that happened, there was like a kid in a sleeping bag who was thrown against a tree, and it was like, "Oh, he's probably very severely hurt, if not dead." But you hear him say, "Ouch!"
Right.
And at that point, I'm like, "Okay, no one's going to die here. This is a very kind of silly situation."
He was like in one of those thermal,
like a body bags, right?
And he's like bouncing, like hopping around all over the camp, trying to get away.
So then it cuts to the next morning. I assume it's still that same morning, and a car pulls up, or maybe it's a few days later because you find out the Munsters are moving.
Sure.
But you got this beautiful young lady, Marilyn, who's the niece of the family, and she gets out of a car and she's with some Chinaman realtor.
And I've seen him in stuff before.
I don't think it's Harold and Kumar.
No, it's not. It's
not. Is it the Fresh Off the Boat guy?
I don't know, but I've seen him. Wasn't he like one of the like one of the Law and Orders? He was like the specialist.
Maybe. I don't watch those. I'm sorry. Dum dum. So they pull up this house. They pull up at 1312 Mockingbird Lane.
Oh, beautiful home. Beautiful
Gorgeous.
Home. And with the experience I have, it looks like it was turnkey ready.
Oh, turnkey. Wow, look at you.
Yes, thank you.
So not only do you know verbiage for being a pilot, but also for real estate.
Right. Take that, Richard.
Thanks, Dick. So they get out there looking at it, and then she does a 180. He says, "Hey, what's that dilapidated piece of trash over there?" And he says, "That's a horrible house."
Yes, it was the former owner was a known serial killer.
Yep.
And he
butchered hobos.
Yeah, butchered hobos or something. And she's
chopped them up.
She's like, I'll take it.
That's all he needed to say. He's like, I'm a fan of the macabre.
Or you're a fan of the macabre.
And the guy's like, no, you don't want that house. This is the house.
And
that
she's
one,
like,
they're ready to tear it down. Maybe you can buy the property.
Sure, once it gets sanitized or something, he said.
Like cleansed of evil or whatever it is.
The land gets cleansed.
Yeah. So, and then it cuts away there, and it says, the family moves in, the Munsters. You got Jerry O'Connell, Herman Munster. No, you don't like that?
I don't like it.
It's too much of a pretty boy to be Herman Munster? Because Herman Munster, again, he was... Jesus Christ, you scared the hell out of me, Captain Phillip.
It's a good imitation. It's almost as good as my Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah, about the same. So, Herman Munster, Frankenstein, pretty much, right?
Sure.
And it's kind of the same in this, except in interesting facts. They said we were talking about how they toned down
the costumes. But in this, O'Connell has this huge, scar across his throat that everybody can see.
Yeah.
One of the things was they showed when they were everybody's first coming to the house. Mm-hmm. The door opens and there's a silhouette, and it is Herman Munster, and you see like little pegs come out of his neck.
And you're like, oh, he's going to have the pegs.
Yeah, but no, there was the silhouette of the.
It's like a hanging light or something.
Street light with him.
I thought that was cool.
That was pretty funny. But yeah, and he walked around. He didn't wear a scarf or didn't have
I'd be rocking a turtleneck
every day.
He's a good-looking guy, very fit. But that is the one glaring thing. Later, you'll see him more undressed, and there'll be scars and zippers everywhere. But from day to day, you see just completely around his head is this massive.
At one point,
scar.
somebody's like, "Hey, nice necklace." It's like, come on.
So they come in, and he's walking around with his son, saying, "Hey, this is where we move in. I'm sorry you got attacked by a bear at that campsite. The kid doesn't remember anything being a werewolf." He said, so we had to move again. And then they start pressing stuff, and the stairs open up, just like in the old Munsters.
Exactly.
I think that's not where the dragon lived or something.
Yeah, the dragon dog.
Right. So so they kind of tease that a little bit. Uh-oh. What's happening here? The stewardess is... What are you looking for?
Huh?
Oh, I thought I was going to get felt up again.
Oh, I think she was trying to be smooth and find out what size hoodie you wear, because we have a hoodie in our closet that is mysterious, and we don't know who is the owner of it.
I'll take a look at it. I'll claim it.
I think it's yours.
I'll take a look at it. But not before we discuss Mockingbird Lane in its entirety. You have, I think at this point you have Marilyn walking around, and she goes into the observatory, which has got a big tree crash through it.
It's all dried out and everything. Yeah. There's crows all over everywhere.
Beautiful stained glass observatory with a tree coming through it, and I don't know why they show that. They never. Came
I
up
think
again.
the only reason they showed it was to play the little snippet of her whistle. She whistles the Munsters.
Oh, to the crow?
To the crow.
Yeah, that's true. Pardon me. Truck backs up to the house. Some guys moving some cargo off. But freezing.
They're these couple Mexican guys, and they are very uneasy from the time they stopped that car.
Yeah, they said, what is up with this cargo? I think, what did they say it was? They thought it was something that should be cold, and the guy's like, I don't think it's that at all. They take it off, and then I don't know if they dropped it or something happened, and a bunch of rats came pouring out.
Oh, yeah. Like there was dirt, and then a bunch of rats came pouring out. And so that's, those rats, they combine and they
kind of cyclone into a Rat King situation.
And then it ends up being Grandpa.
Right. And at this point, I see it's Eddie Izzard.
Sure.
And I'm like, Eddie Izzard looks terrible.
Awful.
He looks I don't know if this is makeup to make him look bad, or because I know he's an older fella now. I was like, he looks really, really bad.
I was definitely not happy with how he looked at all.
The other piece of cargo contains a very naked and Portia de Rossi, which is what I like to see when I think about Portia de Rossi.
Oh, definitely.
She comes out in like some sort of fog or smoke.
Right, and then spiders come down like from the sky, like kind of like a Matrix, kind of raining down.
Yeah, she fully forms being naked, and these spiders rain down on her.
Yeah, and it forms her dress out of cobwebs.
Yeah, they start spinning web into like this beautiful silk gown that she's wearing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's odd. It's an odd thing. Anyway, Jerry is revealed then to be made of many parts. And him and Lily they discuss how to handle their werewolf boy.
Right, because he doesn't know that he's a werewolf.
I think they just broke in the house, right? They're in there, and I think they had just intercoursed.
Right. Well, yeah, and she was talking about breastfeeding him. Like, she wanted to breastfeed. She wished she would have breastfed
Children
Eddie.
are closer to their mom if they're breastfed. She said she didn't do that to Eddie.
Did your mom breastfeed you?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. Are you serious?
Still does.
Still does?
Still does, yeah.
Every day?
No, just on my birthday.
All day? Or day? The 27th.
Just on just on that day. And if she's out of town, then I'm out of luck. Got to wait till next year. But she still produces, which is fantastic.
Wow.
It's not curdled. This is, again, the point where I'm like, hey, Eddie looks so awful. Is this on purpose? And then we see that Marilyn is, when the whole family's together, we see Marilyn is the only quote-unquote normal-looking one, or normal one of the Munster bunch. Jerry O'Connell, which is Herman Munster. I forgot his name for a long time, so I just kept writing down Jerry in my notes. He then takes his boy to school because he's like, I'm going to be late, so he leaves. And then he's like, oh, he forgot his lunch. He follows him out there, and the kid's like, I know something's going on. I know you're lying to me about something.
You guys are lying to me about something. I don't know what it is, but you're lying to me.
And then Jerry's kind of submits to the fact that yes, but he doesn't say anything. The kid gets on the bus, and he's kind of like, we have some work to do.
Right, and then this is the second time we was talking to Lily on the scene before, and this one it shows us a close up of his heart.
It goes into his chest, yes,
and a staple pops out each time.
Right,
and I was like, okay, so so then the next scene is.
Well, he puts a boy in school, or on the school bus. He walks back. He's going to go down to the house, and then, it goes into his heart, and it kind of shows a little leaking, like blood leaking.
Yeah.
It's got a gauge in there, typical Frankenstein kind of stuff. And then he falls over.
Yeah, that's what it was. He fell over.
Cut to black. I think a commercial here, right? They'd place commercial here.
Right, but there was no way for us to for sure know.
We don't know for sure. We love it when they tell us for sure, place commercial here. They didn't say it. We're left to our own devices. They then bring back Herman. They bring him back to life. The kid's on the roof. He's putting in some sort of lightning rod to direct a lightning bolt down the chimney.
Yeah, Grandpa's doing work down there on him.
And he's and Grandpa's stapling him up. And at this point you see him with his chest just kind of hanging open. There's a big zipper patch.
Right. There was a lot. There's a lot of weird scars and zippers on Herman's chest. And it's very obvious that
he's under the table.
He's under the table with
his fake body.
Because the body doesn't move, but his head and neck move around.
Sure. And he's saying, you know what? Because Grandpa's about ready to do something bypass a heart altogether. He's like, you know what? I love too much. I need a heart. Please take the heart that you threw away, clean it up, throw it in me, repair it. Eventually, yes, we'll need a new one, but I need a heart because I love too much. I care too much.
And I thought, I actually wrote this. Reminds me of Jason.
About loving too much?
Yeah, you love too much, man. You're a great guy.
Just
a great guy.
I'm sorry, I wasn't ready for that. I mean, honestly,
well, it's not about being ready. It's it's just something that needs to be said.
It's just 90% of this is scripted, and then you pull something like that out, and it.
It was Emmy this week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. God. Grandpa then goes. You know what? I'm going to go around to the neighbors, talk to the neighbors. I want to make some cookies.
Sure.
So he's going to, as kind of a goodwill gesture. So it seems.
Yeah. So it seems. I think, and what I gathered of it was that he was needing to feed, and he was in a new area, so he had to coax some feeding out of people. So he makes these cookies that are shaped in the D, like Dracula, obviously, and then the middle of it, the cherry filling, he pricks his finger, which then puts some of his blood in it.
And every one of the cookies, he puts the blood in. And so they're going around the neighborhood, him and Marilyn, they're going around, they're knocking on doors. And at this point, too, I noticed that there's almost constantly kind of pounding, suspenseful music, even in parts where I wouldn't even consider it suspenseful. And this show kind of rides the line between drama and comedy and horror. There were some parts that could be considered a little scary.
Sure.
So it's kind of riding the line of different genres. But the suspenseful music definitely helps with the horror aspect of some of the scenes. Grandpa's going around, and you can see some of his powers, if you will.
Sure.
His shadow can extend and touch things. It turns out that when someone bites one of these cookies, he can take control of them, essentially.
Right.
He can make them his slave, his blood slave, I think is what they say later.
Right, and one of the things that was kind of cool is the old wives' tale about Dracula, you have to invite him in.
Mm-hmm. And that seemed to be the case there because he couldn't come in until he was invited.
He's like, come in if you want. He's like, can you rephrase that in the form of a statement or something?
Yeah. He's like, please come in. Like, oh, great. Yes, I will. Thank you very much. Next scene, Eddie he's constantly wearing a Boy Scout uniform.
The whole episode,
right? And I like that.
The wildlife explorer uniform.
Yeah, to me, I kind of like that because it makes him a cartoon character. And anytime a character is always wearing the same outfit, they kind of turn into a cartoon character for me, where they go out of their way to make sure that you all like Dennis. Like I was just talking about Dennis the Menace. That brat's always wearing a striped shirt with some overalls every time you see him. Right?
Exactly.
I like that. So they're at a Boy Scout or the wildlife explorer
meeting.
Yeah, wildlife, whatever it is. And Grandpa comes in, and he's being kind of weird. Yeah,
and the pack leader Steve is like asking questions, like, oh, the pack that you were at before you came here. What was the pack number? And he's like, where's your the patch? And he's
yeah, and it kind of pulls Herman aside, and they kind of have a little chat about that. And then mid-chat, Lily, Portia de Rossi, she comes in.
Oh,
it's a very slow motion.
Though there's
big fans.
There's a breeze blowing her hair all over everywhere.
Yeah, and then Herman and Steve are standing next to each other. Watch her come in, as is everyone watching, but it focuses on them. And obviously, Herman is in love with her.
Sure,
but Grandpa, being in tune with people's hearts and their blood flow, he sees into both of the men's chests, and he sees Steve's heart has skipped a beat, and it kind of thinks, you know what? Maybe we can do something with that information.
Steve's a young guy.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take his heart.
Here, all I can say, another commercial. Right? Fades out, another commercial. We weren't instructed so. But I think
so we can't be official about it.
I hate to do that. Eddie and Marilyn and Grandpa are then showing Eddie wildlife. They're outdoors.
Right, they're outdoors in like a deer stand, like a hut or whatever.
Yep.
And then you see like this, what was it?
Like a mountain lion probably. They're probably in California.
So there's a deer,
it's a mountain lion.
and then a mountain lion eats starts attacking the deer. And they're like, oh, this is the circle of life. And then he's like, oh, so the mountain lion is the top dog. And all of a sudden you see this big, huge, demonic.
It's like a man dragon.
Man dragon eat the mountain lion.
Yeah.
It ends up being, that was Grandpa took that for him.
Yeah, just blood all over the mouth.
Right. Just super gross. This is another example how this show just didn't know what it wanted to be for sure.
That's definitely something we can address during Turbulence. But
Sorry.
I'm glad that you took the time to apologize. Thank you. But you're absolutely
well, if I don't
right.
say something now, it doesn't foreshadow.
No, you're absolutely right. Next scene, Eddie is apparently sleeps in a coffin, and then Lily and Eddie, his mother, they talk about what he saw out there.
So they're having a conversation about Grandpa and what he said. And he's like, your grandfather is is not part of the food chain. He's
outside of it.
He's outside of it.
And he's like, well, you're not outside of it. You wouldn't eat people. And
she's like,
It's like, I'd eat someone.
Yeah.
So they're basically talking about eating people to a child.
Right.
And Eddie and I are both confused, I would say. I was confused.
I was a little confused as well. And then the next scene, Grandpa is outside, doing some sunbathing, and
he has to be invited to come in, but the sun doesn't affect him.
Right.
I mean, you usually see him with a parasol or something, but still, you think any kind of explosion.
There was a umbrella, a big umbrella, but but the guy that he had given the cookie to earlier was painting his house, and Herman's like, what is this guy painting our house for? And did you notice that Grandpa was writing on an iPad with a feather?
No, I saw a feather. I didn't realize he was writing on the iPad.
He was writing on the iPad with a feather.
I didn't realize
instead of a stylus.
But yeah, Herman was upset. He's like, I don't know why you got this blood slave doing your work for you. We don't need that, and I don't like what you did with Eddie.
Right.
I don't like that you showed him, you devouring a mountain lion out in nature. That's ridiculous. And they're saying, you know what? Maybe we can get you a new heart. Maybe just, stop worrying about this. Maybe we can get you a new heart from Steve, the wildlife guy. And right at that point, the neighbor who's painting up on the roof, he falls off, and you think he's dead.
Sure.
He's not dead. But if he would have died, they would have taken him down to the basement and ripped him apart.
Oh, yeah. Drank the blood.
They're savages. So then at that point, they say, you know what? we will go ahead and plan to take the wildlife leader, Steve. We will take his heart for Herman, and while we're at it, I'll probably drink his blood, says Grandpa. So he invites him over. Grandpa invites Steve over. He comes over for a dinner, and before, Grandpa and him were just kind of walking around. He says, you know what, my wife was barren. She couldn't have any kids. She's passed away. This wildlife program that I'm involved with these kids is really all the social interaction I have. It really means the world to me.
Sure.
And Grandpa's just kind of taking us all in and like, yeah.
And then Grandpa starts discussing how Herman's going to die, and he's looking for a suitor for Lillian. And he's like, well, he's not dead yet. Well, he's going to, and it's good to get ahead of the game a little bit.
Just kind of laying the ruse on thick for him. Next scene, they're all at a very lavish dinner, one of those big, long tables.
Like you can't even see the table. There's so much food and garnish, you can't even see the.
And Herman and Lily, they kind of go off to the side and discuss taking his heart, and Grandpa drinking his blood, kind of cementing that is exactly the plan.
Yeah, they go into a dark place, and they have a candle that's between them, and it's the most romantic scene of the show. They actually do a very passionate kiss, but they're like, we got to tell Eddie. We can't not tell him anymore. We have to. Yeah. But how do we do it? Well, we'll figure that out.
Yep. They go, while they're gone, Eddie says out loud that he stopped eating meat, and Grandpa is like, all I do is drink blood and eat meat. He doesn't say that, but that's his jam. So he's kind of like, no, you got to eat. You got to eat meat. Here is a cat. What does he give him? What is that animal that he gives him?
I don't know, but he's like, I'm a vegetarian. He's like, since when? He goes, since the last time I ate meat.
Yeah. But then he hands him like a full animal that's been cooked minus its head.
Right.
Fairly off-putting.
Very off-putting.
Eddie then reveals that the wildlife pack leader will, in fact, be eaten.
Right. He's like, yeah, my grandpa's going to eat you.
And Steve's like, come on, that's not true. And then Lily and Herman come back from their little conversation, and they say, you know what, Steve? Something's come up. We have to cancel the dinner. We're going to have to ask you to leave. I'm sorry this happened.
Right. And then they're trying to get him out before Grandpa decides to eat him.
Mm-hmm. And Marilyn's escorting him towards the door. They open the door, and there is a giant demon with wings.
It scared the shit out of me. So Grandpa changes, into this, morphs into this disgusting monster and attacks him. And then they're like walking backwards. Well, Steve ends up just falling down into
those secret stairs, right?
Secret stairs.
And it's a long way down. At the beginning of the episode, when they first open it, like the kid flips a coin down there. It's like clink, 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 clink. It just keeps boom, boom, boom. It's got way, so it's way down there. The next scene, you've got Eddie and Herman kind of having the talk, or their version, the Munsters version of the talk, on the roof of the house, and how he's saying, you're a werewolf. This is your lot in life. And the kid's, he's understandably upset about it.
Yeah, he's not one to be a werewolf.
He kind of knew what puberty was, and he's like, yeah, but
you're going to get here in some more places. Yeah. He's like, what other places? Like everywhere. You're like, what?
Your puberty is going to be way worse than everyone else's combined. The kid goes inside. Herman's heart then fails, and he falls off the house.
Yes, he has a heart attack.
Yeah, and then it kind of fades from there, comes back, and you're back in the basement where Herman was earlier being operated by Grandpa, and then now you get a second table with the very dead Steve.
With his chest opened up.
His heart removed. The Steve's heart now belongs to Herman. Grandpa is drinking the blood, and this is
out of a tube, just like sucking it out of him.
Some sort of tube connected to like an ornamental blood holder or some sort of Schaefer. I don't know.
And so then at the end of it, they again they're explaining to Eddie that when the next full moon's gonna be kind of rough. You're gonna and they're like, we're gonna get you a dog to help you keep you from going out and terrorizing. Ends up being the dragon dog.
Yep. So the dragon that lives in that basement is finally revealed with CGI graphics. It looked pretty good, I thought. I will mention too that after Grandpa drinks the blood, he looks a lot better.
I didn't notice.
He looks way younger. So as awful as he looked before is from his lack of feeding.
I got you.
And now that he's been refreshed by human blood, now he looks like the Eddie Izzard that I would recognize.
Right.
So and it ends with them getting the dragon. He kind of howls at the moon and blows fire.
Can I keep it? Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? That's where the pilot ends. This is where the turbulence begins.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
Why the show didn't work? I have an answer. What do you think, though?
It didn't know what it was. Was it a comedy? Was it a horror? Was it a drama?
The original Monsters, very clearly.
Comedy. Very clearly.
Yes.
But this one can't really tell for sure.
That same comedy, as we know, generationally comedy changes. And if they were just to do a carbon copy like we've seen other pilots do throughout this show, have tried to do and failed, it would not work in this scenario where they had that same type of comedy because, honestly, I don't think The Monsters is that funny, the original one. And to try to do a strict comedy on that, they could do a carbon copy. They'd have to do a fresh take on it, and I think this is the version that they chose.
Right. And they try to change some things. Like you said, the outfits. Even the Monsters theme at the beginning was more of an orchestra. It was
kind
very
of darker and heavier.
Sure.
Right?
But again, I didn't know if they wanted me to laugh.
Right.
They wanted me to be scared by the blood and the gore, because there was blood and gore in this.
Yeah, it was pretty graphic.
Or are we watching like the vampire version of Dallas? I don't know what's going on.
Blood oil. Well, I tell you what, NBC chief Robert Greenblatt said of their decision to pass on the series, "We decided that it didn't hold together well enough to yield a series. It looked beautiful and original and creative, but it just all ultimately didn't come together. It just didn't ultimately creatively work. We felt great about the cast, but we tried to make it not just a sitcom. We tried to make it an hour, which ultimately has more dramatic weight than a half hour. It's hard to calibrate how much weirdness versus supernatural versus family story. I just think we didn't get the right mix."
No, you didn't. You didn't get the right mix because you didn't know what you wanted going into it.
Right.
Or you knew what you wanted but didn't get anywhere near there.
Yeah, he says it was it looked beautiful and original and creative. I will give it. I thought it looked good. There's a few parts where we had mentioned like the werewolf silhouette in the beginning, and I don't know if some other parts maybe where he was on the table and all open, where it didn't, maybe technology wise it wasn't up to par with what is possible. But I think overall it was shot well. I think it was beautiful. Like the sets were nice. I thought the casting was pretty good. I thought Eddie Izzard was good as Grandpa. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I think Robert Greenblatt is right. He may have tried to put a nice little coat of paint on it to church it up a little bit when presenting why it wasn't. But they didn't get the right mix. I agree with that. What would you have done to improve Mockingbird Lane?
I would have made it a sophisticated drama.
Really?
I would have tried to been more elegant full through. I wouldn't have gone with the special effects that really weren't that good. I would have made it to where I assume the audience knows I wouldn't show a shot of the overhead shot of Herman with his chest open. I'm going to do like a side shot and just you're going to assume you're going to visualize the guts and
right. So it was overly graphic, unnecessarily. Graphic.
Yeah, and then it wasn't graphic like good graphic, like it wasn't consistent.
This as a special, I think, is okay. This would be a tough one to keep going if it survived, if you ask me.
Storyline.
Yeah, what else are you going to do
with
Monsters?
Right, because the Monsters was just, hey, it's a typical day. How many jokes can we put in with a laugh track?
And boy, did they ever. So thank God this one didn't have a laugh track. But yeah, this would be a tough one to keep going. How many different storylines? I don't know. Maybe you have visitors from out of town. Maybe you're trying to keep it from the people at work. But that seems more sitcom, related.
Sure.
It'd be interesting. There have been other supernatural sitcom, or not sitcoms, but dramas like True Blood comes to mind, the vampire show on HBO,
right?
And that was very successful for like 6 or 7 years. But I don't know. I don't think it could have. I don't think it should have survived, and it definitely did not. Let's start our final descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
Rotten Tomatoes score, 60% by the critics. That's officially fresh.
Ooh.
60% is the cutoff. 59, rotten. 60%, fresh.
Okay.
Audience score, 83%.
Wow.
People like this. The people who saw and ultimately commented and rated it enjoyed Mockingbird Lane. IMDb score, sometimes you cheat. Do you have a guess?
7.53.
That's very close. So much so that I would probably guess that you're cheating. Maybe not.
No, I had looked up earlier.
7.6.
If you rounded mine up.
I should have rounded up. My apologies. You were absolutely right. And that's from over 3,500 reviews. This has been seen.
This has been seen.
This has been seen. Critic reviews. Let's see. I left the episode wanting to see more of where Fuller, the person who created it, and company wanted to take these monsters, which is a good thing. Leaving your audience wanting more is a positive, obviously. That was by Ken Tucker from Entertainment Weekly.
Ken.
Outrageous, eccentric, funny, campy, and too creepy for small kids. It's a real shame it isn't sticking around. Vern Gay from Newsday.
It wasn't kid friendly. I don't think I would let.
No, he's right.
Eli
Too creepy
watch
for
it.
small kids. He's right. The hour plays like a failed pilot that it is, with a lot of exposition and an episode-ending tease that's intended to leave us wanting more. Tom Conroy from Media Life. Yeah. There's something admirable about a big swing, even when it doesn't connect. Mary McNamara, LA Times.
No, Mary.
No. These are critic reviews. Real quick, some headlines from viewer reviews. Bunsterific. Am I the only one who thinks so?
Yes.
It's a hit.
No.
I'd definitely watch this if it were picked up. Monsters for the 21st Century. 1313, a modernization of a classic. Excellent reincarnation. Adorable homage for a mature Munster fan. Certainly not what it could have been. Loved it. Absolutely brilliant. Surprisingly pleased. Phenomenal. Some negative things in here. Largely positive. People like this. I think we'll have to see what you and I say about this. What do you think?
I think we should.
All right, we're taking it in for a landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11 and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
We're landing. What does that mean for us?
This is where we give our ratings. We've told you all kinds of stuff. Now you need to know.
Yeah. And what is our rating system?
It's based off of the hit series Wings. It's a 1 to 7. A 1 being a Roy Biggins, which is the worst, and a 7 being Brian Hackett.
Yay! That's right.
We love you, Brian.
That's right. And somewhere in between there is where Mockingbird Lane will fall.
Somewhere betwixt.
Yeah. We gave you everything you need to know. Everything, A to Z.
Couldn't give you more. I could not give you more.
There's nothing else out there to give. We have been bled dry. Captain Philip, rest assured, I turn to you for your rating. How do you score Mockingbird Lane? Yeah, dig deep. It's in there.
Buxom Blonde, I'm not giving the Buxom Blonde bump. She really didn't do much for me.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Give it a 3. I'm going to do you one better, and I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay. All right.
This is right on the line for me. This isn't one where I was
miserable watching the whole time.
and just like constantly checking the time. When is this over? And believe me, that happens.
Oh, from time to time.
Yeah, not this time for me. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was great. You're right. If it's going to be an hour, actually it was only about 32, 33 minutes. But if you're going to be an hour, it's got to be a drama, as modern day dictates. And if you're going to be a drama, then hone in on it.
Sure.
If you're going to be a comedy, knock it down to 22 minutes and hone in on that.
Right. If it's a drama,
tell it to your mama.
Tell it to your mama.
You're right, though. This did not know what it wanted to be. It really wrote a weird line. Halloween is fun for everyone. You know, if it's going to be on
Halloween.
It is my favorite holiday. I love to pass over it.
You love it because your birthday is close to it?
No, I love it because
your birthday's 4 days before it.
That is true. And actually, just because you said it, I've never even thought about that before. Oh, you're really sinking down into your seat. You need your back scratched? The pilot's chair was not made for that.
No, it's unbearable.
The scratching? What do you have? Surely there's something here. You use a rogue mic to scratch your back. How about that? Yeah, I'll get you a back scratcher for my birthday. There it is. Oh, yes. The relief washes over his face.
Sorry.
So you got a 3 and a 4. Not a great score.
Not horrible, but not great.
Yeah, I agree. And with that, we close the book on Mockingbird Lane forever.
And ever.
Never to be mentioned again.
Never.
Why would we?
We'll never mention it again.
There's no reason to mention it again. It never
happens. Once we review a pilot,
yeah,
we don't talk about it ever again.
There's no need to. Why dig up the past? Why did they decide to dig up the past with the Munsters? I'll never know.
I think it's one of those things where, first of all, 2012 really the start of, hey, let's do reboots.
You think so?
It's
okay.
And there is something about the Munsters that people just can't leave it and go, let it go. You know what I mean? Like creative, like producers and directors, writers, they just can't let it go. They think that there's something else to rekindle, and there's not.
It's a very bizarre show, right? The original Munsters is very bizarre. When you look at the landscape of television, it's very bizarre. The characters are immediately recognizable because you have a mountain of a man of a Frankenstein. You got a guy with a cape.
54, where are you?
Was he on that too?
Yeah, he was. I think they were both. I think him and Grandpa were both on Car 54.
Oh boy, just delightful.
Thank you.
People are thinking, well, that's that.
Off with it.
We're done.
Couch
we're not
Pilots
done.
done.
No,
Oh.
we're not done.
Okay.
And we'll never be done. As long as there's pilots drop kick to the curb, we'll be there to scoop them up and talk about them. Please join us next time when we watch the pilot episode of Super Clyde. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. Centers on Clyde, a meek, unassuming fast food worker who decides to become a superhero. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or go to Vimeo and search Super Clyde. You'll find it.
You'll find it.
And boy, oh boy, we got some interesting stuff to talk about.
Definitely.
On that episode for sure. Do you like what we're doing?
I love it.
Do you? Oh, not you.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I mean,
Oh. You looked right at me and said, do you like what we're doing?
anytime I'm addressing the audience, I will now look away from you. Do you like what we're doing?
Better.
Thank you. Go send us an email at couchpilotspodcast@gmail.com. You got any questions, comments, even suggestions for future episodes, things we don't know about? Guess what? We know about a couple hundred, but there's probably some out there we don't know about. And if you want to send that to us, guess what? We're going to move it to the front of the line, and we'll do it next. Go to fcfnetwork.com. Check out the entire family of FCF Network shows, including Low Blow, The Song Inside and Out, Sex with Heather, Drunken Lullabies, S&M Radio, and the flagship show itself, IBWIP, coming on 10 years strong. How did you do it? How did you do that? Was it Moxie or Gumption?
I don't have either. Just desperation for attention.
I have a clone called Desperation. You can smell it on me?
Oh, cologne. I thought you said I have a clone.
I have a clone master named Desperation.
That's desperation.
We're out there on Facebook. You should really follow us on Twitter. We're gaining some momentum there. We're reaching out to the stars. Sometimes the stars reach back, and we'll definitely talk about that again on this next episode, where that happened on a couple occasions. You'll see us. You'll be the first to know what's coming down the pike. You'll get to see conversations between big celebrities and also the stars of the show. Big celebrities like us.
Right, exactly. And like I said, we're on Instagram, couch_pilots_podcast. Facebook, that's where Richard and his beautiful, beautiful, adorably beautiful, smiling girlfriend.
You got to back off that a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, she's cute.
I'm sure she is, but
I mean, he has to thank his lucky stars every goddamn day. I mean, he looks like he got hit by a truck.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
No, just
we get one, we lose one.
Right, that's true. No, we have fun, and Richard knows we're just playing around. But interact with us. We would love to hear from you guys. Interact on any of the social medias. We will respond. We'll have fun.
And it all adds up to frequent flyer points. You get yourself some signed aviator glasses. You may even take a flight with us. And at the very least, you're going to get some surprise prizes.
And I'm tell you what, Richard has gotten so many that I'm worried that we're going to have to fly out to California to do a show with them.
Yeah, that really is like the mother of all prizes, right? Sure. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, we just need your support. Please share links. Tell people about it. Don't just when you see a post, don't just like it. Share it, because when you like it, nobody sees it. We are a tiny niche in the world of podcasts, and we want people to hear about us and enjoy the show as well.
There's a lot of fun to be had, not only on the show, but with the pilots we watched.
Tons of fun to be had.
And with that, this pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jason. You did a great job.
Thank you, sir. You did too.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.